Ravens Wrap is sponsored by Bud Light, jctickets.net, Geico Insurance, Dunaway Furniture, Ocean City Golf Club, RussellStreetReport.com, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Holiday Inn Express, the original Green Turtle, hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
Welcome back in. It's the original Green Turtles Ravens Wrap Show right here on Comcast Beach TV at Delmarva's Rock Radio, the strongest Ravens signaled affiliate on Delmarva, 93.5 The Beach, broadcasting from the Ravens Room, the Blue Ox Bar and Grill, 127th Street and Coastal Highway with Ravens Roost 44. Give yourselves a hand, guys. And, of course, we invite all Ravens fans to come on down for the show every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. A lot of great giveaways, including Ravens tickets as well. Hey, this show would not be possible without our friends at Bud Light, the Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Geico, the Ocean City Golf Club, and, well, the weather's still very nice to do some golfing. jctickets.net, they're the providers of those Ravens tickets we give away. The Holiday Inn Express at Northside and Ocean City, which put up my two very good friends for the Bisciotti Show a couple of days ago, or 2 weeks ago, I should say. So I want to thank them. Also, Dunaway Furniture. You can visit them for great furniture, Serta mattresses, and rental makeovers. 130th Street, Bayside, No-C, 410-250-5100. Also, buyatoyota.com, your official site for Toyota deals. Hey, you can like us on Facebook, Ravens Wrap at the Blue Ox, and coming soon, ravenswrap.com. I'm Mike Bradley, Tony Lombardi, Tom Moore, and Steve Slaza on the panel this week. The Ravens 4:25 kickoff in Cleveland against the Browns. Pre-game network on 93.5 The Beach at 3:55. And, of course, our show airs every Sunday on 93.5 The Beach and WZBHRocks.com at 11 a.m. All right, it's time for that portion in the program where we answer questions from the audience. And a couple of these are concerning coaching decisions. First one, 4 straight runs up the gut at the goal line with Green Bay. Onside kick with the Steelers. What's going on? So I'll quickly let you guys talk about that for a second.
Well, with Green Bay, that game, I didn't disagree with going for it on 4th down because, we saw that strategy work in the Super Bowl, back up the team, defense was playing well, forcing the punt after the change of possession, and maybe still get good field position, a chance to score. It's the 4 consecutive runs I do question. Somewhere along the line there, you had to throw a pass, a waggle, or play action, somewhere along the line, because at that point in the game, they had run the ball 9 times for a total of 1 yard. So, to me, if you continue to do the same things the same way and expect different results, I think they call that insanity. So I would definitely disagree with the approach of 4 runs there. I'll let Tom talk about the onside kick.
I had written a piece on, of course, Russell Street Report, and I was saying John Harbaugh is a great coach, but that doesn't mean you make these kind of calls. The onside kick just made no sense. And this is just John. I mean, he's taken him to 3 AFC Championship games, a Super Bowl win. 5 years in a row in the playoffs. But you just can't make a call like that when your team's coming back in the game and when your defense is playing better. It's just, it was a bad decision. And it's one of those things where even if you had seen something in the tape, look at the records. The Steelers don't give up trick plays. They just don't do it. And if Bucksy were here, he'd tell you that. He'd be happy to tell you that. But the fact is, it was a bad call by the coach. It reminded me a lot of his failure to challenge the Wes Welker non-catch in the Denver game. So it's been a lot of bungling this year by a great coach.
I think, and I know you guys are going to disagree with me, but I'm going to put it out there, and we talked about it before the show. I think this year he's been coaching with a little bit of desperation because he himself is not sold on some of the moves that were made by the team. He's got a bunch of yes men in the locker room this year. And you realize that, sometimes your biggest idiots and the biggest guys who are questioning everything you do are your best players. And, it's been a different ride for him this year. And, for me, on the onside kick, it's like, if you're going to go for something, go for the 2-point conversion when they're offside. You only have to go a yard after the week before you ran 4 up the middle. So.
Well, and look, everybody sees a little bit different way with that, and a lot of people would argue that, which is wrong, by the way, because if you ask Steve Bisciotti, and we did, that the moves that were made weren't to get rid of guys that were challenging him, that's not the way that they run the football squad. But, talking about the 4 runs against Green Bay, again, I agree, you got to throw a pass in there somewhere. You had not, I don't care what the percentages say on 4th down, you had not been successful running the ball. But as Steve Bisciotti pointed out, they thought the game was going to be a high-scoring game, so that they thought that getting 6 there was very important. And so, okay, but 2 of their top receivers were out, by the way, so they were really down to basically just Jordy Nelson at that point. So things change within a game too, though. But I agree, it's not the call there, it's necessary, but it's the personnel and the fact that at least one time they didn't go for a pass. Somebody commented on Michael Orr, said, "Hey, I'm a fan, but he telegraphed every single pass play the last game by cheating with his right leg much further back in his stance. Why hasn't coaching correct this obvious miscue? Huge giveaway to opposing defenses." Now, in obvious pass situations, all teams, their linemen set up in pass pro. But if you're saying that he was doing this even in situations where you don't know whether it's run or pass, I don't know. You'd think that that's something that they would correct. They might not know it till after the game, though. But.
Well, I think if you see tendencies on a team has, but you use those tendencies against the opponent occasionally because you think that they're picking up on that, I think that's okay. But I don't ever see the Ravens doing that. I remember this NFL Network film where they were talking to Bill Belichick, and he was talking about a time when Kyle Bowler was quarterbacking the Ravens, and they were up in New England for a game in the mud and everything, and Orlando Brown had a specific stance when they ran the ball and a specific stance when they threw the ball. And that was their key, one of their main keys in that game. And they were really disappointed because Orlando Brown was inactive that game. So screwed up their whole game plan.
Yeah. The next question is, what happened to the hurry-up offense? And, I think some people at times, there's different kinds of hurry-up offenses. Some, as we call the sugar huddle. Some are very obvious in terms of their hurry up, but others do it at maybe a 50% pace. I think the Ravens do it more than what people think, because when you go back to take a look at the play-by-plays, there's more hurry up. But I'll let you guys address that. Do you think that that's more reality than perception?
More reality than perception. I think here's my
that they
reality.
don't run the hurry up.
They don't do it enough out, and I mentioned it earlier in the show. They don't do it enough right out of the gate.
Okay.
I think that they should dictate the pace and flow of the game right away, because I think it gets the defense on their heels. And if they're on their heels, I think you saw it opening up the running game a little bit more. So I would just go balls to the wall from the start and see what happens, because I really think that would help the defense too.
I think that's part of their slow starts too, is that they haven't been doing that. If you know that your quarterback likes the no huddle and the up-tempo offenses to come out in that, and at least you get a touchdown. I think if you throw anything at them, the whole time, they're going to get wise to it. But definitely coming out in the no huddle, would be a way to stop us from playing behind.
I agree with Steve. I heard they've hired Magnum PI to try to find the no huddle. I don't know how well it's going, but I'd like to see you be successful with it.
Well, I would go back and argue too, though, you've got to be successful on first down. Forget third down conversion. What's your yards per on first down? How many yards are you getting there? Because that dictates a lot with second and third down. Pace, I agree with pace, but I don't think they've nearly been consistent enough on first down, which has led to woes in second and third down. Next up, there were some changes that were made. And look, John Harbaugh said during the bye week, we're going to do whatever's necessary. We're going to add players. We're going to cut players. We're going to change scheme. Whatever needs to be done, which I think is a byproduct of Steve Bisciotti at the top, that, hey, you got to keep an open mind, and that, we're going to challenge everything that we do. And if we think we need to change something, we're going to do it, especially if it's not working. The Ravens signed 2 of these fellows in the offseason, and Michael Huff and Marcus Spears. Marcus Spears, a defensive lineman, Michael Huff, a safety. They were cut Wednesday. Brendan Trawick and Omar Brown, both safeties, were signed off the practice squad to take their place in the 53-man roster. Also, earlier in the week, Bernard Scott was signed, former Cincinnati Bengals running back, to take the place of Bryant McKinney, who over the bye week was traded to the Miami Dolphins and started against the Patriots on Sunday. Tony, you're a Ravens insider. What was the thinking behind these 2 cuts?
Well, I think that with Michael Huff, he just never played like a Raven. I mean, here's a guy they signed to a 3-year deal, gave him $1.5 million signing bonus. He was a starter on day 1, and after the first game, he's not the starter. It's very seldom that you see the Ravens do something like that. Yeah. When they invest in a free agent, they pull him after 1 game. So now he's a special teams player, an overpaid special teams player who can't even contain as the wingman on a kickoff return, a key kickoff return against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So he just never, and he wasn't a very willing tackler. It just did not fit the MO of a Baltimore Ravens defensive player. So I think that's what you saw there. They just, enough was enough. I think Brendan Trawick and Omar Brown will contribute a lot more on special teams than Michael Huff would, and Michael Huff is never going to get his starting job back, so why keep him around? So I think that was the thinking there. With Marcus Spears, I think Steve touched on it before. The Ravens' defensive front sometimes gets gashed, just like they did last year in a running game. And I think Marcus Spears was one of the culprits. So Brandon Williams is playing well. I think that the release to me is an indication that Terrence Cody's probably healthy, so you'll see him more on the field. So I added up, and that's why those two guys are gone.
Guys, I know we're a little short for time, but with the trading of Anquan Bolden, with the lack of signing a Bernard Pollard back, for instance, we made some big decisions. A lot of guys got away, Kerry Williams, Paul Kruger, and there was this philosophy of getting younger and faster on defense and sacrificing some of the offensive side. And I'll go on record as saying that I was okay with that philosophy, that direction. But when you see two of the guys that were signed, that were supposed to be a part of that now you've cut halfway, not even halfway through the year, that's a little indicting of the decisions they made. And obviously you're not always going to win, but this doesn't look good, at least so far.
No, not at all. It's a decision where they went off, they tried to replace folks, they tried to get some veterans that they thought would be pretty good. And the problem is they just didn't pay off. I mean, Michael Huff was like a lunch special at a discount restaurant, got eaten up and very quickly. So it was one of those things where they had to make the move. And Spears, I think he's a better player than getting cut, but the problem was he wasn't consistent. As Tony said, they got gashed. And the other thing, he was banged up. And you can't have that when you've got younger players who are more durable. So I think it was the right move.
I saw on your website today that Spears may be bejeemed if he doesn't get picked up by anybody else, meaning...
Yeah, I think it's clever usage of the 53-man roster, the way Ravens are doing that. They've got 54 guys.
Like Buck Showalter with a pitcher.
Yeah, exactly.
But, I mean, he's a classic guy on the sideline. You look at him like, oh, my God, that guy is a Greek god. I mean, but then you look at him on your field and you're like, ooh, looks like Tarzan, plays like Jane.
We got about 30 seconds. Well, and Spears was signed to be more of the run stopper on the defense. Canty was signed to be more to get after the passer. But I think the health is a big thing there. I don't think he was consistently healthy, and that probably led to his ineffectiveness in stopping the run. And, yeah, for Michael Huff after that first game to be demoted in place of a rookie like that, it was very telling. Hey, the Ravens, they don't always get it right, and obviously they didn't here. But we'll see. Hopefully they can rebound in the second half. More of the Ravens Wrap Show to come on Comcast Beach TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio. 93.5 The Beach.
In April 1959, Art Wall won the Masters, edging out Carey Middlecoff and Arnold Palmer by finishing birdie, 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 par birdie. 1 month later, Ocean City Golf Club celebrated the opening of their first 18 holes. That course has been transformed now into one of the most scenic golf layouts on the East Coast. Come experience 36 of the most beautiful and challenging holes you'll find anywhere. Ocean City Golf Club in Ocean City, Maryland.
Welcome to the Comfort Inn Gold Coast. Conveniently located just 1 block from the beach and adjacent to shopping at the Gold Coast Mall and the movie theater. Newly renovated and open year-round with a marvelous bayfront view. Visit us on the web at comfortgoldcoast.com and see our hot deals and great golf packages, or simply call our direct reservation line to plan your stay.